All right, so now that you have some background information of Twitter and you've had a chance to explore Twitter, and hopefully you've started to develop a personal learning network where you have connected with some educators that have similar interests and maybe subject areas as you, let's dig a little bit deeper and talk about how you can use Twitter in your classroom. So the first idea that I want to share with you is called a back channel. Now, I picked this picture of the kids passing a note because in our classrooms, there's always a conversation going on that's in the background. Why not take that conversation and make it educational? Why not use it to your advantage? So when the kids are talking back and forth in an environment, maybe like texting or sending emails or Snapchatting or whatever they're doing, make it educational. And one way to do that is by using Twitter as a back channel. So those would be all the conversations that are going on in the background while an event or a lesson is taking place. So think about a town hall meeting that maybe President Obama has. Nowadays, people are able to tweet in questions to the town hall. Why can't students do that during your lesson? So during an educational video, you can send questions to your students. They could send questions to you. They could ask questions of each other or clarify information. Have a conversation while the video is going on, and it makes sure that everybody's engaged. And you'd be surprised, kids that don't normally talk will get involved in an online conversation. Another idea is to use a back channel when you're watching a Google Hangout on air. So all of the members that are participating in this event that's on Google Hangout on air, they interact with the same hashtag. So that might be an author is doing a Google Hangout about a topic. It could be a president. It could be part of the Google Connected Classrooms. And I put a link to that underneath this video in this section so you can check out the calendar of upcoming virtual field trips through Google Connected Classrooms because there's some really cool ones, and keep checking back because the calendar is always being updated. Another way to use Twitter in your classroom is to connect with other classes. Say you're studying the same topic as another class. You could reach out to them and ask questions. You can see here some examples of where I've connected with some other teachers as well as some people that I follow. And you can see I was looking for someone to help with a writing project for a book that we were reading, and we were able to connect with students in Canada and write and comment on each other's work. It was very powerful for my students. And you can see some of these other topics are mystery Skypes, which I'm going to go into detail a little bit more later on in the class when we talk more about connecting globally. But it's a great way to reach out and connect with other teachers and other students as well. Another activity that you can do for Twitter is to have your students summarize. Because Twitter is only 140 characters, students will work really hard to revise and edit their work so that it fits into that 140 characters if they know the end result is that they get to tweet their work. So here's an example. Last year I read a story with my fourth graders called Hewitt Anderson. And I had the students start on a Google Doc, and they had to write a summary of the story. And then they took that story and they revised and edited it until they got to the main ideas, and it was 140 characters. Once I approved it, they were able to tweet out their summary, and they worked so hard, and they really did a wonderful job, and they enjoyed the work that they were doing. All right, can you imagine taking your students' digital work and putting it on a digital bulletin board? That's what Twitter can do for you. You can share work examples that your students have done. Maybe it's a Go Animate, or maybe it's a YouTube video that they made, or a Google Doc that they wrote. You can share it in a digital bulletin board, and Twitter can do that for you. It's great because other teachers can get ideas of what you're doing in your class, and vice versa. You can get ideas from other teachers when they tweet out what their students are doing. Here's an example of some some of my student work that I put out. We had written digital stories, digital fables last year and animated them. And I put them up on YouTube for people to check out. This is a class that we connected with over the last 2 years, and they went on an insect hunt. And so this is a picture of them doing that. And then this was a summary that one of my students had written. So I tweeted out those, and the kids just love it when their work is tweeted out. So the last part that we're going to talk about in this section of the course is connecting schools and businesses and creating a partnership between the ed tech companies that you're using their software. There are tons of ed tech companies that are on Twitter, and Twitter is an excellent place to reach out for support. So you can see in this block right here, my students last year were having a hard time logging on to BlendSpace with their Google Apps for Education account. And excuse me, I reached out to BlendSpace on Twitter, and we were able to have a real-time conversation. We were able to provide feedback to them. They were able to provide support for us, and it showed my students real-life problem solving. It made a real-world connection between the business community and our classroom environment.